The parable of prodigal son. This is actually the story about two sons, the prodigal son and the one who ended up being proud, angry, and envious. Two brothers, two different lives, and two endings. One brother ended up being a winner and the other one lost everything. It took only one decision. One made the right one and the other a very wrong one. Welcome everyone, Father Chris. Who doesn't know this beautiful story? Even those who never read the Bible have heard this parable. One of the sons decided to leave his home, leave his father, just so he could live his life the way he wanted. Immorally, luxuriously, sinfully, arrogantly. But the other one lived his life well, exemplary, morally well, and being obedient to his father. But what happened at the end of the story is really shocking because both of them made a decision that impacted their whole future. So the prodigal son, by admitting his sinfulness and apologizing to his father, was forgiven and received back with joy to his father's banquet. And the good son, the obedient son, by his envy, pride, and anger, excluded himself from the banquet. You and I can learn so much from this story of the two brothers, two people, just like those to whom that parable was addressed, the Pharisees and scribes who accused Jesus of associating with tax collectors and with sinners. Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." You see, the tax collectors and those sinners were just like the prodigal son from Jesus' story. They admitted that they lived their lives sinfully, but they were able to realize that they needed change and forgiveness. So they come to Jesus, hoping to be forgiven. Yes, God welcomes sinners and eats with them, and more than that, He invites them with great joy to join His banquet. In a strange reverse, those who lived in obedience to God, following the law and commandments for all their lives, those who should have had an honorable place in that banquet, they refused to come. Their anger and pride destroyed all they were working on for their whole lives. These were the scribes and the Pharisees. What I am learning today is that just one decision can have a tremendous impact on the whole of eternity. How come one who lived his or her life sinfully and away from God at one point comes back, says that he is terribly sorry and wants to return and change, and so God welcomes him or her back with great joy? And another one lives well, prays daily, receives the sacraments, feeds the poor, supports the missions, and confesses frequently, yet by one act of pride and anger can exclude him or herself from God. Is that fair? I don't know, but what I already know is that God's thinking is not like our world thinks. However, one thing needs to be noticed. The older son was not rejected by his father, but he simply chose not to be part of that banquet. He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. It is easy to become envious, angry, and judgmental when we see someone who never comes to church but still receives communion at Mass, or someone who lived very sinfully approaches the sacrament of reconciliation. It is easy to become like that older son from the parable and judge others like, "What is she doing here sitting in the first pew? There is no room for a sinner like that here. What is he doing, looking for a priest? I hope he would be sent away. He is a very bad person." On this fourth Sunday of Lent, ask yourself, which son are you? The one who is humble and admits his sinfulness and then seeks forgiveness, or the one who decides to be angry and envious with God only because God welcomes tax collectors and sinners and eats with them. Two very different lives and two very different decisions. Not the one who lived his life obediently entered the banquet, but the one who made a right decision. My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. We all are welcomed, but the decision belongs to you and me. So let's go to work. God bless you.